Imagine there was no light. What if day and night didn't exist? What if there isn't any food? A frightening imagination, isn't it? This makes me wonder who is the force behind the functioning of human civilization, and we found the answer in the Egyptian mythology. It is quite likely that Egyptian gods and goddesses are to thank for the beginning of civilization, and among several significant gods in Egyptian culture. One god specifically looks after the ideas we discussed. He is none other than Osiris, the god of agriculture, the underworld, the dead, and fertility. Hi, and welcome back to our channel, where today we'll talk about the story of the Egyptian god Osiris. What was the entire myth around him? How was he murdered? What happened after his death? And a lot more. But before we get into why Osiris was so important to ancient Egyptians and why everyone wanted to be like him, do like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future uploads. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So much like Greece and Rome, Egypt also has a rich culture of ancient mythology, and the Egyptians worshipped many gods. They followed a rigid set of rules established by the gods, who guided them through life and death. The gods, according to the ancient Egyptians, not only created the universe out of chaos, but also preserved harmony. It was also believed that before becoming gods, they were kings who oversaw human affairs. And one such legend in Egyptian mythology is of the enigmatic god of the dead, Osiris. Before 1539 to 1075 BCE, Osiris was not seen in any Egyptian arts. However, the earliest known artwork of the Egyptian god of the dead is from 2300 BCE. In addition to being the king of the dead, Osiris also possessed the authority to bestow all life from the underworld, including the seasonal floods of the Nile, which was the reason behind the development of agriculture in Egypt and the yield of crops. It was believed that not only the kings, but also every man were ruled by Osiris after their death. He played several roles other than ruling the underworld and can be seen as a symbol of both life and death in different artworks. So, who was he, and what were his real powers? Interestingly, Osiris lacked the conventional powers that many Greek gods had, such as the capacity to fly or change his shape. He is shown as an antique mummy with his arms crossed over his chest and one hand clutching a crook and the other a flail. He typically wore a crown with 2 ostrich feathers on his head. He was painted as black or sometimes with green skin. But why were there 2 different versions of Osiris? Well, the green skin was a symbol of rebirth, and black skin represented the fertility of the river Nile. For his name, the word Osiris is a Latinized version of the Egyptian Usir, which means mighty or powerful. To go further into the tale of Osiris, it is said that Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys were the first gods to be born when the world was created from the marriage of Geb, or earth, and Nut, or sky. Osiris, the firstborn, took the throne as lord of the earth, with Isis serving as his wife and queen. He taught mankind about farming and bread making after Isis found magical wheat. He imparted laws, culture, music, religious teaching, and agriculture to the Egyptian populace. Under Isis and Osiris's leadership, Egypt transformed into a paradise where everyone was treated equally and there was an abundance of food. He also used to travel the world, teaching civilization the art of farming and spreading his wisdom. Now, let's look at the most prominent part of his myth. Set felt envious and jealous of his brother's achievements. But he grew more bitter after Set's wife Nephthys impersonated Isis in order to seduce Osiris and became pregnant with the god Anubis. Set, together with his 72 evil friends, created a stunning coffin built to Osiris's exact height and then organized a big party to welcome his brother from the long journey around the world. He revealed this beautiful gold coffin and announced that it would be given to the one who fit in it the best. According to Set's plan, some guests were short and some were too tall, and in the end, when Osiris tried to do the same, he fit perfectly into the dimensions of the coffin. Osiris got excited, but Set had other plans. Set slammed the lid, and with the help of his evil friends, he nailed the coffin and tossed it into the Nile, where it was carried away. The coffin of Osiris got stuck in a tamarisk tree growing close to Byblos in Phoenicia after his body sailed out to sea. It was totally encircled by the tree as it grew to be the most beautiful tree. Malkander, the king of Byblos, visited the coast with his wife Astarte and claimed that tree, and had the tree chopped down and transported to his palace as a decorative pillar for the court. Isis, who had left Egypt in the meanwhile to look for her husband, ultimately traveled to Byblos while pretending to be an old woman. There she knelt down by the water's edge and wept for her husband. She was later taken to the palace by the royal maid who took a bath near the river. She became friends with the king and queen there and was asked to watch their young kids. Isis tried to make the younger kid immortal by bathing him in fire, which outraged Queen Astarte. But then Isis showed her real form as a goddess, and seeing this, the king and queen promised her that she could have anything she wanted in exchange for forgiveness. She asked for the pillar with the tamarisk tree and went away. Isis then cut Osiris from the tree after leaving the court and brought his body back to Egypt, where she hid him from Set in the Nile Delta's marshy area. She left the body in the care of her sister Nephthys, while she went to gather herbs to make a drink that would bring him back to life. Set learned about his brother's return while she was away and went in search of his body. He was able to persuade Nephthys to reveal its location, and after he had located it, he cut it into pieces and spread it across entire Egypt. When Isis returned, she was shocked and started to find all the parts of her dead husband. She found all the body parts except the penis, which had been thrown into the Nile and eaten by the Oxyrhynchus fish. This became the reason why this fish is not eaten in Egypt. Later, Isis was able to heal Osiris, and after he was alive, she took the form of a kite and soared over him, absorbing the seed from his body and becoming pregnant with Horus. Even after being alive, Osiris was insufficient to rule the realm of the living because of his incompleteness. He later took the form of Lord and Judge of the dead. Fearing what Set would do to her kid, Isis hid Horus in Egypt's woods until he was older. At that time, Horus emerged as a powerful warrior and engaged Set in the war for great powers. Set is murdered in some stories, but for the most part, he is defeated and cast away from the land. Horus, just like his father, took the responsibility to set order and rules in the civilization with his mother Isis. The mythology represented some of the most essential Egyptian cultural ideals. Even before his relationship with Nephthys, Set had hatred toward Osiris due to his lack of respect and envy of others' success. In Egypt, being unappreciative was a gateway sin that exposed a person to everyone else. The tale effectively demonstrated how even a god may become resentful. And despite the fact that the story of Osiris seems like a myth, it has some classic elements that are relevant even in the modern world, portraying jealousy between brothers, love, and grief over the loss of a loved one. A central aspect of Egyptian culture and religion, the tale also depicted the victory of order over chaos and the establishment of human civilization. And with this, we come to an end for this video. Let us know in the comments below your thoughts about the legend of Osiris. Also, if you enjoyed this video and want to know more about ancient mythology, make sure to like and subscribe so we can bring more of such stories to you in the future. We'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.